So I'm finally ready to show the pieces from the Raku glazed pit fire. This piece has an original glaze over a black obsidian clay. The original glaze didn't work well, so I thought, why not try something new? This one and one other like it have a lot of the adhesion of the aluminum foil that I had used for a Sager. This is the other one that had the similar glaze from the Raku glazes, and this one has even more adhesion of the aluminum foil, but I think this came out really interesting. A lot of the Raku glaze seems like it came through as a brown color, almost copper, so I wonder if that's the color it was that I glazed on it. I didn't make good notes this time. This one and the next one both look like they didn't have much difference with the Raku glaze on top of the original glaze, which is kind of surprising. Maybe it was similar chemical composition, or it just simply melted away. With these four tumblers, I was originally going for the pattern of a monarch butterfly wing, which these last two still kind of have that color. This piece had some really cool colors come out. It was originally too wet when I put it in the bisque fire, so I had some blowout in the walls. It was a little thickly built, so I thought, what the heck, pottery experiment, and used, I believe this was a sunburst Raku glaze. Anyway, I like some of these areas where it has a little bit of turquoise and green and a little bit of gold. I'm kind of happy with this piece, even though it is kind of quirky. This was originally a test fire in the previous glaze firing I did, and this is another black clay, different than those four tumblers, so I hadn't used it before, and I wasn't really pleased with the outcome of the glaze I used, so I thought might as well do something in this pit fire. I wrapped this one with some copper wire, used some shell, and used some chemicals. I'm not sure, I think that I used some Epsom salts, some manganese dioxide, and some iron oxide, some red iron oxide. And this came out kind of interesting, but almost looks lava-like. This little fire-breathing dragon's had an interesting life. It was very difficult to get to his mouth to hold teeth, and ultimately in the pit fire the bottom jaw broke off, so you can't tell whether he has teeth or not. So did his ears, and his tail had broken off in the original glaze fire, so that's why I decided he'd be a good experiment for the pit fire. Anyway, he did have some awesome color there in the gold shades, and I just think that he came out kind of dragon. This bowl almost looks charcoal-like. It has some of the aluminum adhesion as well as some of the glaze stayed. I think a lot of the glaze actually melted right off or burned right off on these. I think the fire got way hot, but it's still interesting. This bowl came out looking almost lava-like on the inside, almost like a brown pumice or something, or a red lava. It's really interesting the way that the clay bubbled and the glaze bubbled. I know it's definitely overfired, but still interesting to look at. This bowl with a rolled edge actually looks like the glaze came out better than any of the other pieces in this firing, and it has many more distinct areas of solid aluminum. So I don't know if it was closer to the bottom of the fire or closer to the top. It's really hard to tell when you're uncovering. Anyway, I'm pleased with how it came out. It's very interesting as well. One of these two cups, the smallest, was actually the last piece that I located when uncovering the pit fire. It looks like some of the same glazing stuck to this pair. The really interesting thing is that when I originally fired these, I fired them with Amico Weeping Plum and had a white liner glaze, and it came out okay for a black clay, which is what this is. It's that sable black, but it sounded like a good idea to experiment, and I think that I added the lapis, or might have been the amethyst, Raku glaze. Anyway, these two are stackable, but they are completely separate. This piece really came out with some interesting colors, some coppery shades, some gray shades. It even has some weeping lines in the glaze, it looks like. Um, it does have a lot of the bubbling and the aluminum foil adherence, but it's still, there's something I really am attracted to about this piece. This is the last piece that I have here at the house. I have one piece that was accepted into a statewide competition that's in the Ogden area here in Utah, but I didn't get a photo of that before I dropped it off. Anyway, there was one other piece that was really super looking, and I dropped it on the garage floor and shattered it, so it doesn't really exist anymore. Other than that, this is what we have. I appreciate your attention. Thanks for your patience with my novice ability as a YouTube video person. And I hope that you will like, subscribe, and definitely comment. Give me any pointers that you have. Again, thanks for watching.